for the Shop Report with
Barbershop Jay.
What up, sports fans? Welcome to the Shop Report. I'm Barbershop Jay. I'll be your host for the day. Here's what's happening. Of course, we want to remind you the Shop Report is brought to you by Rocket Digital Media. It's the one-stop shop for all your digital marketing needs. You can look them up on Facebook at RDM Detroit, 1D, 2E's Detroit, or you can slide on over to the website, rocketdigital.net. That's ROCKIT digital.net. And make sure when you're there, while you're there, you tell them the BSJ sent you. And for my folk out there in TV land, if you want to leave your questions or comments, or excuse me, should I say my folk out there on Facebook and YouTube and all the other outlets, if you want to leave your questions or comments during today's program, by all means, please do so. And we will throw it up on the screen. And y'all know what's coming next. If you're one of them folks that wants to leave a question or comment that's indignant or ignorant in nature, it won't be seen on this screen. Matter of fact, here's what you'll get.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
With that being said, joining me on the program today is my cat from up north, Joy James, a.k.a. Double J. Tell the people what you say. Why always me? Who knows?
Well, we're snowed in, so welcome to the Midwest.
Okay, well, you're going to need more than one twig on that fire you got going in the background. I'm just saying.
That's gas, natural gas today. You know,
yeah,
it was what?
Yeah.
It used to be a penny to run it. Now
it's
about
right.
3 pennies to run it.
Yeah,
so
that's when
it ain't
Brother
getting
Rick,
no higher than that.
That's when Brother
we need
Rich
some more sponsors. I need to increase my salary before I could do all that.
Yeah, well, welcome to the United States Postal Service. I can't give you a dime. And then last but not least, we got my man D Gully from the CLM bus who decided to absolutely join us. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that right there. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a nice intro. I like that. The IT guy.
Much appreciated. Much appreciated, man.
Gully, what
I look
do?
like I've got negative 2 hours of sleep, okay? Man, but it's tiring, man, but it's rewarding. So I'm happy to be present with you guys here. So appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate it too. You know, for all the folks out there who just now joining us or watch us or view us or support us, you know, Gully is an original part of the program, but he went off to start his own business and doing pretty well, I'd like to say. What was I getting ready to say? I have no idea. Let's start the show. All right. Our first item on the menu. You know what? Yeah, let me do this first. Let me go on and get this out the way. Well, wait a minute. No, I'll ask this question first, and then I'll go into the next thing I was going to do. When you're watching the game, which broadcast experience is best? Radio or television? Gully?
Watching, well, you know, you the wordsmith. So when you said when you're watching the game, how can you watch the game from a radio?
Exactly. I like that. You caught that. You caught that. Okay. All right then. So now that you caught it, I should have went to Double J because I know he over there drinking Lucia. I know he was gonna say something about Kay Cunningham and he don't like Rasheed Wallace. I don't, you know, it was gonna come from somewhere over to the left, or at least by Lake Huron or Lake Michigan. I don't know which of the two. So let me rephrase that then. I like that you caught that. When it comes to getting ready for the game, which broadcast experience is best from a perspective standpoint, radio or television? Double J.
Well, wordsmith, I'm going to have you repeat it.
See, I say no profanity on this program, but I was just giving, this is I'm talking about right here. Breaking news. Oh, shout out to Snowman who went in. Yeah, how about them Niners? Yeah. We definitely gonna get to that. And he said, mine, I can do both. You know what I'm trying to tell you? Shout out. Shout out. He said he can do both. Yeah. Snowman he know what I was driving at. What I'm saying is, when it comes to getting ready for the game, whatever the game is, whether it's the biggest, I don't know, World Cup match, I don't know what it is, Super Bowl, Final Four, which broadcast experience is best as far as perspective? What gives you a more clearer perspective, radio or television? Hold that thought. Snowman said, I learned from one of the legendary teams in Jim Durham and Johnny Kerr. Why do I know the name Jim Durham, Snowman? Go ahead, Double J. While we wait on his response, what'd you say?
Absolutely. Well, your audio, the fact actually of the matter is, even when you're watching TV, you're actually listening. So that would have answered the first one, but it also provides some guidance for the second, which is to truly grasp what's happening, to get a better perspective. Audio is always going to do that for you, versus, kind of a tape delay that you have.
I get it. I get it. Optics are a big deal. I get it. But, and this is no offense to the blind, but I'm just going to use this as an example. It's almost, no, it's not. No,
come on.
No. I have the utmost respect, because those who cannot physically see, let me say it that way, their other senses are far more acute. Am I saying that right, Gully?
Yes.
Okay. So it's akin to, just maybe on the surface, when you're listening to the game on the radio, the perspective is more in depth and more concise. Whereas if you're watching the game, there are distractions visually that disrupt or distract what you hear. Am I on the right track, Gully, or no?
I don't know. I'm not certain about that, because how do you effectively understand the confusion around Jamar Chase's negated touchdown pass last week if you don't actually see it for yourself? There are no words. There are no words really to really capture what we. I mean, you can, but there are no words to really capture what you saw.
But that's why you got good play-by-play guys. Who was the guy for us that passed a couple years ago? They used to did the Cavs games radio.
The voice of the Cavs. I don't know. I can't remember his name. But
it wasn't Fred McLeod.
No, it wasn't Fred McLeod.
No, it wasn't Fred. It wasn't Fred McLeod.
I don't remember his name, but I know what you mean. Now, see, you bring up a point. I would say I think a question that gets more at the spirit of what you might be asking would be about the broadcast. Here's what I mean. Visually, being able to see the game, even if I don't hear the words, I could turn it down. I need to be. There's nothing captures seeing the game. I mean, the game is played to be seen. So no experience that doesn't allow you to see the game could really trump being able to see it. If we're talking about a game to be played, I would ask though this: what's a better audio experience? Your local audio broadcast with color commentary, or a national one?
See, this is where it gets very interesting, right? Because college is really where you're going to lean on that. And even I would say local will always reign supreme, because it has a nostalgia to it. So you guys, I think we're pointing, I think it was Joe Tate is who you were looking
Joe
for.
Tate, yes.
Yeah.
Joe Tate could call a game via radio. But see, that's the thing about audio. You, in your mind, you're visualizing the guy who's calling it. If he's calling it, because some guys are better than others, you can see what's going on in your mind.
I'm gonna have to request a timeout. I know I only get like 2 of them per show. I'm gonna have to request one. Yo, me and you, Barbershop, we got to huddle on that, because there's no way a non-Ohioan, especially a non-Clevelander, should be able to know the name of our broadcaster before we do. So you and I, especially you wearing an O State hat, I'm wearing a what is that hat you got on? I know I'm wearing a Cincinnati hat. I know it's Cincinnati, but we're in Ohio. We have there's no excuse for us not to remember that.
Okay, first of all,
Senility be damned. I'm sorry.
I remember the guy's name. I remember the guy. I remember the guy, but I could not remember his name. Now I have an excuse. Okay. The transmission on the 68 Buick that's been sitting in the garage too long. Yeah, my mind do be slipping. I'm 75 years old, man.
Well, then you definitely should remember because he was calling the games before you could see him.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. But I don't I can remember grandma's sweet potato pie, but I can't remember my password to my Google.
Just know you and I got to get it together.
I'm just saying.
Double J, I appreciate you on that, but you and I got to get it together. Okay, barbershop.
Okay. Yeah, well, you younger than me. You got all your hair. So pull up the rear, young fella. Hold on. Let me get to this comment right quick, Double J. My man D-Runk. All right, where you been, baby? He said, I think local will always be better than Chris Collinsworth and Greg Olsen. Oh, he's shooting from the hip, baby. Okay, what was you gonna say, Double J?
Well, I'm kind of agreeing with him that when you look at it, again, I use just nostalgia. The Detroit area has guys like Ernie Harwell that have passed away. That was the voice of the Tigers for forever, really. And my first memory is actually hearing his voice echo because they were playing the radio broadcast through the speakers of what was Tiger Stadium, which you asked, hey, have I been over there? They turned it into apartments, and Detroit Pal plays there, so it's a combination area now. Comerica Park's a few blocks away, but and then of course we have George Blaha for the Pistons, who's been there, and he calls Michigan State football games as well. You look at Purdue. It was almost a national day of mourning for us when Larry Clisby passed away, and that stuff, every high, every low that you've experienced, there's been a consistency by way of that voice. There are some greats nationally, right? A few that have just recently kind of came and. Like
Jim Donovan is one. Jim Donovan is one for us local. For the Browns,
you can't get away from a Marv Albert. Yes, and
exactly. Miss Albert weighing in that go green. D-Runk says sometimes with local broadcasters, we never even know their name or give them their flowers until they retire. That's true, man. He be coming with some where this dude, man, he got to be a walkingpedia.
I'm telling you, well, and you're sleeping on St. Louis. That's why. That's what it is. He's not. No, he's on the other side of the Mississippi, and that's so you're writing him off.
Okay, well, absolutely not. That was a bad joke. Anybody got time for that? No, man. I don't sleep on the Louis, man. I know about the Louis, man. What, man? Don't listen. Maybe let me fix my glasses.
Oh yeah, you ever had a St. Paul sandwich?
Hey, watch out there now. Watch out there now. That's better than the Philly cheesesteak, baby. Yeah, man. I just say at the end of the day.
Whoa, wait a minute.
What?
What did you just say? That's better than the Philly. What's better than the Philly cheesesteak?
I don't know. St. Paul sandwich.
What is it? And where do you get that from? That's something from Missouri?
No, you're not gonna get it from Ohio.
I don't know. Well, I'm saying I'm traveling, right?
Yeah, you're traveling. Yeah, right.
So I need to know what I need. Look, D-Runk, I need you to let me know, man. Give me a lay of the land before I come out there, man.
Yeah, let him know, D-Runk. Let him know if he should go get some Wendy's or St. Louis sandwich, baby. Hold on, D-Runk. I think he weighing in again. He said, wait, Double J, you know about St. Paul's? Man, you too hip. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Hey, D-Runk, the man is well traveled. I mean, he done been to Cleveland more times than I've been to Cleveland. I'm just saying.
I feel like Ricky Bobby leaving his dad a ticket at will call.
Yeah, exactly. Man, you can't tell me how many times I got invites to the stadium. Yeah, I just think though at the end of the day, man, listen to the game on the radio. The perspective is a little bit more in detail. It's almost akin to what I say about, when you're watching the TV, put the TV on mute. your perspective is much more clearer. I think we got one more comment on this before we go. Let's see. Oh, D Runk said St. Paul egg foo young sandwich, mayo, onions, pickles, white bread.
Can you flag this? I need to know this. I need to remember this.
Okay,
Whoa.
so St.
All right, cool. All right.
St. Louis
I'll
got
duly
the best
noted.
St. Louis got the best hood Chinese food in the nation.
Wow.
Yeah, it's all good.
All right, for sure. Hey, I got a question though, real cool. Are we talking about broadcasting?
Okay.
Because I'm been unfamiliar, man. What's the deal with why did everybody turn on Tony Romo? What's the deal? What's happening?
I have no idea.
Double J, you have any idea what's going on? Like the tide didn't change? Like what they love about you going up is what they hate about you coming down. I didn't expect that to happen so soon.
Well, look, man. At the end of the day, man, TV is such nowadays that it's 24 hours. Okay. When it went to 24 hours, it's more programming than it is program worthy material. So they got to come up with something so that the folks who get all of their thoughts and processes and things of that nature from television, TELLA vision, they can have something to feed off of, man. I'm not Tony Romo. That's just go to show you. I didn't hear about it. Okay. So
here's what the problem is. First, you got to remember he was heavily disliked just for the role that he had as a Cowboy quarterback. Then
okay, so D-Ron saying right here though, right quick, he said, I remember when everybody loved Romo for predicting plays, now they hate him. Go ahead, Double J, continue.
And D-Ron's exactly right. It's for that very reason. What we know is that the analysts get to go to the practice before, so they get to see things and know they're going to run it. So when he would see a certain formation, it made it, quite a bit more predictable because again, that was the wrinkle that they were adding for that particular week. Right. So just in comparison to your traditional predictive formats, like, hey, they always run first down in between the A gap, just something as simple as that. So once it was known that he knew it and he wasn't quote unquote a genius, for being able to just see these things. And again, that just shows how petty kind of the world is. So
yeah, but whoa.
How come we didn't even know this before? Like, how come I didn't know this before Tony Romo? Like, I didn't know that the analysts were privy to that before Tony Romo.
Okay, first of all, we don't come on here to steal Barbershop Jay's thunder. That's number one. Number two, I want my thunder back. Number three, like TJ, you're gonna have to start raising your hand. Okay, you just can't be speaking out of turn right now. Okay, my memory's working very well. I had oatmeal today. I'm just letting y'all know. And my Depends is dry, baby. I know too much information. I'm just saying. But at the end of the day, whether he's privy, whatever Romo is privy to, that is a good question, though, by the way, Gully. But whatever Romo is privy to, his insight goes far beyond what the little bit he's privy to. Does that make sense? No.
No, you're absolutely right. You're right in line with that. I mean, it kind of sort of dims. It don't dampen some of his expertise, but you're right.
See that?
Because give me a reason from when I watch Romo. Give me a reason for a pen in the pad. If we can watch Dan Orlovsky, surely we can watch Tony Romo.
Now wait a minute, because I know you may not agree with this entirely, but you may respect it at its core.
Okay.
Something I caught with League Pass, if you catch a Portland Trailblazers game, they have specifically a former soccer guy running the analytics during the broadcast. So he will let you know, that, hey, Dame coming off the screen currently in this first quarter is shooting 90% better than he has all season.
Okay.
And so from your point of view with a pen in the pad type of thing, okay, wait a minute. So if this drops by 10%, their 7-point lead goes to X, or, hypothetically, it starts to make your mind work a bit more, that I personally liked, because again, I'm a numbers person, but it adds more depth in the layers of the game itself. again, those guys on the bench, somebody's looking at those same numbers on both teams. But at the same time, no different than Tony Romo knowing, hey, on third down, they like to run a screen, 33% of the time. It still, again, adds an additional layer that means it's not just this brute force type of sport. There is intelligence that needs, that should be incorporated into it. And I thought that was unique. That was the first time I've ever seen anybody, really doing that. As much as we talk about analytics in the game, to actually have someone there on site for the casual viewer, right? For the fan.
Yeah, but
not just the expert.
Yeah, that's the whole point of it, though. It allows the viewer to see what they don't normally see. Most viewers, not all, but most, those I know for the most part, are like owners in their mindset when it comes to the product, to the players. They see them as commodity. A good play-by-play guy will allow you or make room for, if you're open to the idea, to think that there's something that goes beyond the helmet. Okay? There's actually some intellect that goes into, this receiver winning on this particular play. All right? Listen, I don't know about the analytics portion of it, but what I like about Romo in particular, when they do the replay from the wide angle or whatever the case, when the field's kind of tilted, you can see kind of look down on the player, so to speak. And he gets the circle and he said, watch this guy, Jim. This guy's going to come down here and he's going to go back in motion. We're going to pull the linebacker off that's what I want to see. When I say pen and pad, I'm talking about strategy. So he shows me how the Andy Reids and them guys, how they have to strategize in order for the execution to be there and the outcome to be in their favor for the most part.
And that type of analytics, real time, game time, teachable, explainable information is the type of stuff that in this type of culture we in, that's actually duplicate. You can study that and you can go and emulate that in practice. You're going to become a smarter player. Yeah, absolutely.
Or you can use it for Madden.
Oh, but remember, that's what made Madden great.
Hello.
He was drawing all over there.
Hello. Let me get you a couple more of these comments here. D-Runk said, I'm on Twitter watching them disrespect Doris Burke commentary as we speak. Yeah, I mean, Then my man, shout out to Doc weighed in. I sent you an invite, Doc, but it's okay. I know you in surgery right now. He said, what? Grandpa Jay came prepared. Oh, wow, really? This is the type of shenanigans we got to deal with on a Wednesday. D-Runk said in St. Louis, we got force-fed Bears games all year, and I really came to appreciate a good broadcasting crew. Yeah, because,
Hang on, who did you have my guy J Mac, or who did they have there? Tom Waddle from back in the day? I don't know who was calling the Bears games.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, Greg Olsen.
Waddle and Silk. Greg Olsen.
Hey, what's wrong with Greg?
He's not bad.
He's a you guy too. Oh my! Look at this. Hey, look at our host. I know Greg enough.
Okay, let me straighten you out right quick, there, young fella. Okay, let me straighten you out.
7th floor crew.
Let me fix my glasses so I can see what I'm really saying here to you right now.
Grew up. He's an adult.
I am a U football fan since '81. Do the folks really need to hear this again? Okay, I'll be redundant. Yes, I am. But I'm not going to apologize for you if you're wrong. I'm not. I told you I'll be the first one to tell you, and I'm going to keep telling you. The U's quarterbacks were terrible outside of Kozar and Kelly. Period. I'm going to be the first one to tell the truth about my squad. Them is my boys, baby. And Greg Olsen is all right. I'm not going to say, oh, he's the greatest thing because I'm a U guy. I don't do that. I don't do that because he's not. Even though he did call the playoff game, he's good. And what?
His story with his kid was, it'll pull at the heartstrings for sure.
I know.
Him and Kara had to go through.
Yeah. But yeah, man. All I'm saying to y'all is, come see, come saw. Okay. Yeah, come see, come saw. I have no idea, but I don't dislike Romo as a play. That's what he is, play by play, right? Yeah, he's play by play.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, I liked him as a play. I thought what he did was informative, substantive. You know what I mean? Because listen, I told you I stopped watching him. I might watch SportsCenter just to catch the highlight of a game I missed because of my 9 to 5 and things of that nature. But like when Stuart Scott and Chris Berman and Tom Jackson and all them guys,
that was a golden era, dude.
That's what I'm saying. You had to be there before it started, like a game. Now I'll catch the highlights. I'm not invested like that anymore. But when you turn on most of these talk shows, the Get Ups, the First Takes, I know who they are and I know what they are. What are they really discussing? Now let's be real here, okay? They will take a topic or a subject that they feel is popular, like the Lakers or the Cowboys, and they will run it all show long. They'll talk about something else for 6 minutes and talk about Terrell Owens for 65 minutes. And it's only a 35-minute show.
Okay, so
come on, man.
But here's the thing.
I like to hear variety. Romo adds a variety that you don't see typically when you turn on the tube. Hello, to get your sports fix, I guess. Help me out here.
Well, think about it. Look at what the alternatives are, right? You have Al Michaels,
exactly.
who really, he was great. I think he's gotten very much bored of it of lately, and that's really no fun.
Yeah, he's getting ready to be out of it. He
chased the check. Yeah, he chased the check, and he got Thursday night games, and their Thursday night games, which are atrocious. So,
who was the other guy that was good for ABC? Did Rose Bowl games.
Oh, you're talking about Hello Heisman. He does. He's out in Vegas.
Is it Keith Jackson? No, that's not Keith Jackson.
No.
No. He's long since passed.
No. He's the dude you're thinking of. Wait, the guy I'm thinking of. Not Jim Brandt-Sander. That was a Michigan guy. I'm staring at his face right now. He's in Vegas. I see him all the time.
No. This guy was an older guy. He probably passed by now. I'm talking about he did Rose Bowl games in the 80s.
I'm telling you, yeah, he was. Oh man.
See, I see how I throw your curveball, Gully. You can weigh in if you want to. Hello, Paige and Dr. Gully. Oh, please. Here we go again, man. The technical difficulties. Anywho, let's keep things rolling along. At the end of the day, I had to apologize to all those who follow and support us and the viewers and such for not getting back to my recommended reading segments for the P program. Unfortunately, because of my hectic schedule, doing so is just, bear with me, you all. I got a private chat. Okay, got you. Okay, I got you. I got a message here in my private chat. Forgive me. But anywho, doing so is a tall task. It really is. And I haven't done one in a while. But
Brent Musburger.
Brent Musburger. No, it's not Brent Musburger.
Keith Jackson was there too. He's the one who said goodbye, hello, Heisman.
Yeah, I knew it was Keith Jackson. See, I got that right. Give me. Oh, man. Stop denying me my buttons. But anywho, I'm rereading one of the books I was going to do for the recommended reading segment, excuse me. And I come across a couple of passages that I got to do for the P program today, okay? First of all, I'll show you all the book. It's called Blood in the Garden, all right? The Flagrant History of the 1990s New York Knicks. This is a must read, by the way, if you're a reader. If you're a sports head, you got to go pick this up. Blood in the Garden. Can you all see that? Probably not. My light shine. There we go. Blood in the Garden. How about that? Anyway,
well, you could have made that Amazon link in there and had it.
Oh, yeah, I got to talk to you about that. I'm glad you said that. Yeah, I'm glad you said. Hey, man, I can't think of everything, okay? But at the end of the day, what I'm calling this right here for this portion of the P program is excerpt from a book. And if you know what an excerpt is, for those of you who don't know, it's just a short passage taken away from a memoir or writing, things of that nature, or in this case, a book. There's two things I wanted to point out. The first one is about Pat Riley. Aside from handling jump balls for Kentucky, we all know he played at Kentucky, right? Did you know that he was selected by the Dallas Cowboys in the 11th round of the 1967 NFL draft, despite not ever having played football? Did you know that?
No, I
see what I'm saying? Shut up. See what I mean? This is what we do here, baby. We bring forth new information. I think a lot of people
realize the influential role he had with the Lakers in the early 80s.
Hey, listen, they talk about that extensively in this book. Before they talked about that, obviously, leading up to his time and stint, obviously, with the New York Knicks or whatever. Man, this book, man, that's the thing about reading, though, hard copies and things of that nature. You read it once and you read it again, you're going to find something in it that you didn't catch the first time. I don't know if this is like a human nature thing or what, but it works for me. I've read the books I've got, man. I read at least, at minimum, each one at least 5 times. Some I've read 10 times or more, and I always get something different. A lot of the material that we discuss here and that we've been discussing throughout the years comes from the things that I've read. I'm not trying to put myself on a pedestal or nothing. I'm just glad to be a reader. We need to all read more. That's been my mantra for days. But let me tell you the second part, the second excerpt that is about Greg Anthony. The Greg Anthony that played the 1990s, running Rebels, UNLV. I think to this day, that's the largest margin of victory in an NCAA championship game. That 109-72 win over Duke. Yeah, I think to this day, and I mean, I got a chance to see that UNLV squad up close and personals. And believe me when I tell you, it was fun to watch. My man D-Runk weighing in again. He said, I always felt the 90s Knicks were one of the most interesting NBA teams of all time. Absolutely, bruh. Absolutely. He said, just found the book on Amazon for $20 hardcover. Yeah, it's a bruh, money well spent. Money well spent. My son asked me once, Dad, if you had $200, what would you spend it on? I told him a book. Okay? Because you will never not get your money worth from a book. I said, I wouldn't buy no shoes, no Jordans, no disrespect to Mike and all that kind of stuff. But, those things get old. Then what? $200 out the window. No. I'd like to spend my money on things that, at some point maybe will appreciate, not depreciate. Okay? Just saying. Anywho, Greg Anthony. Sam Almy was like an assistant coach, trainer under Pat Riley during those times, right? Aldy or Almy, I can't think how to really pronounce his name. Forgive me for butchering. But this is what he said about Greg Anthony. He was talking about his jump shot. He said the guards' attempts were so wayward that coaches quietly played rock, paper, scissors to determine which unlucky assistant would rebound for him following practices. Bob Salmi, S-A-L-M-I, says, with good shooters or even decent shooters, they usually hit the front rim or the back rim, where, of course, the rebound is right there. He said with Greg, he'd miss and the ball's not anywhere near the basket. He said it ends up going out the door or down the stairs. Sometimes I'd just walk over to the rack and get another ball because the rack might be 40 feet away, but his rebound is something like 100 feet away. And I'm not going to chase that. Shut your mouth. I'm just trying to say, shut up. See, these are the things that when you're watching NBA TV, they're not going to tell you about Greg Anthony, okay? I'm just trying to tell you.
Well, he's not going to say that either. Speaking of, obviously, his son, he's a commentator on NBA TV.
Yeah, Greg Anthony.
Yeah, so he's not going to say that about. He may not even say that about Cole.
All I know is if I'd have been sitting next to him, I'd be like, Greg, hey, you might want to sit down on this one because that jump shot was terrible. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Leave it to Barbershop Jay because I'll bring it up, baby. I'm just trying to tell you. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting. So that was just a few excerpts from the book. And that's what we'll try to start mixing in here a time or two as we progress and go through the year or whatever with the programs until I can get back to doing the recommended reading segments. But yeah, until we get my man Gully back, we'll move things right along. All right. Our next item on the menu, obviously, is Hoop Central. Even though we just mentioned a little bit about the book, that was excerpts from the book. Now we will continue on with more of our Hoop Central to actually meet the meats and potatoes, nuts and bolts of it all. Did you read what is it Steph Van Gundy or Jeff Van Gundy? Which Van Gundy is it?
Well, there's a Stan and there's a Jeff.
Oh, Stan. Okay. Yeah, Stan. Woo, BSJ. Yeah, Doc, I'm with you. Yeah, Grandpa J today, baby. Work with me. Steph Van Gundy. Stan Van,
Oh no.
Woo. All righty then.
Oh
I need
man.
okay,
Oh.
did somebody
Hey.
let me check. Let me
You
check.
want to cut the
Volusia.
commercial real quick?
I know,
Yeah,
right?
let me check. Let me check for Lucia, baby. Yeah.
Barbershop
Thanks,
Jay has
Doc.
been charged with this second timeout.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Doc, for weighing in. 25. Yeah, all right. Gotcha, Doc. Yeah.
That's his, hey, he had the answer right there.
Man, yeah.
I
Man,
I even separated the two for him, and nope.
Yeah. I like to do things on my own, okay? I can tie my own shoes, buddy. Anywho, Stan Van Gundy, did I say it right that time? And Kevin Durant had somewhat of what I consider or call a misconstrued Twitter exchange. But here's what's interesting. I'm surprised TJ ain't came in yet, popped in from the locker room. You see, he's been absent these last couple, you know what I mean? Because I've been cracking his head in the thread. We got a thread going on in the phone, y'all. I don't know if you can see it. Me, Double J, Brother Rich, and TJ, and Doc. And TJ been getting jumped on a little bit lately, you know what I mean? But anyway, TJ, you're more than welcome, man. Come on back, man. Don't act like that, man. You can even wear your T-shirt if you want to. I'm just saying. Anywho, Stan Van Gundy and Kevin Durant had a back and forth Twitter exchange. I'm pretty sure you all have seen this by now. But Van Gundy brought up an interesting point. He said 90s NBA teams had just a trainer and a strength coach. They practiced more often and harder and played more back-to-backs. Teams now have huge medical and performance staffs and value rest over practice. Yet injuries and games missed are way up. Something's not working. Now, I'm not going to read the rest of the back and forth, but KD, a new day today BA player, actually agreed with Stan, as do I. Gully, would you like to weigh in on that? Do you think Stan was right for saying what he said? Are you there?
Okay. I think there's something to it. To what he was saying. One thing that I'd like to respectfully sort of question or inquire about was how many of those guys played through an amount of pain that was, let's say, that was an inordinate amount of pain just to make sure that they kept to an old standard, right? About being tougher, about playing through pain, about playing through things that could have risked further more substantial injury. I think
Grant Hill comes to mind.
Yeah, you see what I mean? Like, or even kind of has recently, or Isaiah Thomas, Yao Ming, right? You know what I mean? Like that grittiness. I think he sort of he qualified the grittiness that those players had versus the understanding of durability and longevity that newer players seems to embrace or understand. I don't know. I think though there's probably an area in between that Stan Van Gundy is still talking about players training more differently and playing differently. I mean, think of it this way: Kobe Bryant didn't really start breaking down physically until what was it, like year 16 or year 17, or when he really had those significant injuries.
His career,
yeah. So and it's well documented how hard he trained and how long he trained. Mm-hmm. So I think that gives merit to what Stan Van Gundy is saying about training. These guys aren't training the same and they're always injured because perhaps the game is the only time that they're really working at that significant clip for that long. I don't know, you know what I mean? But I think there's something to it.
Yeah, you know what? Would you say the same thing almost like in football? You hear players often say, man, if I don't go hard, I go home, that type of deal. You can't half do it out there. That's when you get hurt. So you got to go full clip. Or does that not apply here? Yeah, no.
I think it does. I think it does too. I think it does, but football, man, football is a different animal because of the level of contact, man. What we're seeing though, I mean, we're talking about well, think of it this way: a football play by default ends with a potential risk of injury. 9 times out of 10, you have to hit somebody to, you know what I mean? Almost like in boxing. So I think it's a slightly different breed, because in certain situations, to make the play, I've got to do something that can change, that can alter somebody's career. And that's, first and 10 in the second quarter, and the score is 0-0.
Yeah,
I got to, so I think it's a different thing to compare.
I got you. Bear with me. Let me get to a couple of these comments here. My guy Doc. My gosh, who slipped Lucia in my water, man? That was just stay out my house. You got your own. Doc is saying back in the day, players didn't sit unless the pain was too much to play. Absolutely. Yeah. And if somebody else was here, they'd be talking about something. Yeah, and they was getting high. Doc said again, look at Kobe. He played injured so much the last 4 out of 6 of his final seasons, he was hurt on the bench. But Kobe was that one dude who, if I'm not mistaken, didn't he blow his Achilles out, but still hit the free throws? I'm just saying. My bad. D-Runk weighing in. He said every ESPN and TNT game has at least one superstar player resting. Yeah, matter of fact, who was it a couple games ago? Some little kid flew all the way from somewhere.
800 miles.
800 miles to see his favorite. Who was the player?
Curry.
Was it Curry?
That's where Steph would have been applicable.
Yeah. And then he
and he forgot that one.
Oh, hell no. Oh, Doc, whose side are you on? This is the stuff I'm talking about. Man, you cut right there. That's it. Oh, yeah. Good looking out, D-Run. Man, D-Run be on it. Hey, I'm telling you, that's my memory guy right there. I'm trying to tell you, Jimmy Butler. Yeah, that's right. It was Jimmy Butler. Yeah, I was in the ballpark. I was in the B ballpark. Yeah, matter of fact, hold on, wait a minute. He left another comment here, my man D-Runk did. He said, yep, the kid flew all the way from Argentina to see Jimmy Butler, and he was resting. Hey, listen. Wait a minute here. Miss Alva weighing in. Shout out to Miss Alva again. He had a sign that said he flew 800 miles to see his favorite player sit on the bench. There you go. That's more poignant right there. Yeah, absolutely. So to Stan's point, to which has been my point and our point, and when we do this here, portions of the P-Rogram, when we talk the hoop thing, these things that people have made a norm or normalized, there was not a thing. GOAT, back-to-back. What? Since when did that become a thing? You get paid to play.
And if you hang on.
But wait.
It's applicable in other sports.
What do you mean it's not applicable in other sports?
You don't see it in NHL. You don't see it in the NFL.
That's interesting. The sports with the most contact.
So, and we've specifically attacked this era of basketball's defense.
Okay, well, what else would you?
Well, the reason why I'm saying
you have to attack it.
Well, no.
They don't attack.
The reason why I'm saying that.
No, he's making your point, Barbershop.
Yeah, making your point that if the contact isn't there like it was in yesteryear, or it certainly can no longer be compared to those other sports, that I aforementioned.
And I know he was making my point, Gully. I'm old, but I'm not slow. Hey, don't start with me, man. Man, y'all not. Hey, listen, somebody done spiked my water over here. D-Runk weighing in again. He said it's so bad that I wouldn't even buy tickets to NBA game unless they were super cheap. NBA has a problem. That's another good point. And again, I mean, they all signs is pointing towards Stan's direction. I'm with him, man. I couldn't agree more. All of these injuries, all of this resting, it has become a thing. But yet and still, we want to laud and applaud and all of that and say this was better than that. Some things are never better than their predecessors, man. I've always asked this question. I still have yet to get an answer. Show me a metric or find me a metric for effort and a guy who bring it every night. That's one thing I love about Russell Westbrook. I'm just trying to say, man. I'm just trying to get the guy's name right. Miss Alva Wynn. Oh, wait. Doc weighed in again. My bad, Doc. He said that they're soft, these players, as baby poop these days. You got players like AD that'll roll their ankle and be out for 69 weeks. Yeah, man. And when he comes back, man, you can't tell me Lakers fans ain't had their fingers crossed every time that guy hit the floor. And I mean literally, like when he stepped across the line, wiped the bottom of his shoes off to get for the tip off. Miss Alva says, look at Kobe. Kobe would play hurt for the kid in the nosebleed section that shoveled snow to come see him play. Absolutely. I was that kid. I wanted to see my favorite player. I did. You know what I'm saying? If you all stay with us for a minute, we're going to take a 30-second commercial break. Man, we already been rolling, man. Oh, my gosh. That's right. Put it down. Be right back.
It's Kate Cunningham, and you're watching The Shop Report.
It's Chris Murray, and you're watching The Shop Report.
Touch that dial. Stay tuned.
Max McKee, you're dropping in on The Shop Report.
Hi, I'm Mars Edwards from Mercury Stadium, and you're watching The Shock Report.
Hey, I'm Billy Butler, and thank you for watching The Shop Report. Hey guys, I'm Les Norman, former Kansas City Royal, and you're watching The Shop Report.
Barbershop Jay, Quentin Hines, Super Bowl champion. I'm ready. Let's do it. I'm on.
Commander Brown, Detroit Rivers Belt Training, and I'm watching The Shop Report.
We'll get to your comment there in a second. I also wanted to mention in addition to what Van Gundy said, for all my folks that heard it, just watching or listening, while you're at it, go to YouTube and check out what Austin Rivers had to say about highlight culture and why it has killed the game of basketball. Man, what Van Gundy said and what Austin Rivers said, give them both to me. And that's all the ammunition I need for a lot of young people who swear up and down that, you know, these guys today are better. Not taking nothing from them, entertainment, the whole nine. But, man, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, and Gully, you're a Spurs fan, Greg Popovich said, too, that, I think Pop is getting ready to retire. He's going to have to. Because he said this a couple years ago about how he was getting tired of coaching somewhat. He said because guys come out the game and all they do is want to run to the scores table and see how many points they got. Nobody focusing on defense no more or backdoor cuts. You know, why you let that guy come through? Why you open up the door? The things that made the game, the nuances, you know, I mean, my gosh, they're like a thing of the past. Let me get to this comment right here. Bear with me. D-Runk said, a couple of weeks ago, I had to watch the Bucks versus Heat Saturday ABC at 12 with no Giannis and Middleton. Like, what is this? you know what
bothers me, to his point, I want to say it was yesterday, and you'll see teams without the superstars, and like that example, and then one would assume, oh, they're going to get, you know, just completely hammered, and they'll be up 30. And it's like, how are you now playing above what you would typically do on a nightly basis with your best players? There's just, I always found that kind of strange.
Yeah, but that's one thing. I might be wrong on this, Gully. If I am, Double J, weigh in. But that's the thing about analytics that bothers me. That's one of the things. Because a lot of times these guys now, like, what's the guy for the Clippers who was kind of having gripe? Powell. Norman, is that his name? Norman Powell? Okay. He's a key contributor to that squad. Every squad he's been on, he was a guy who jumped off the screen at you, so to speak. But he was like, man, some nights I get 3 shots, some nights I get 13 shots. A lot of times the analytics, these guys that are starters, these guys got to get a certain amount of shots so that they can get the be in the running for this award and that award and the so on and so forth award. So other guys may be capable, but they got to defer. By default, they got to defer because Giannis is that guy. You know what I'm saying? And the Middleton is the next guy. And to the guy. But when you see the others really play with the freedom to play, you'd be surprised. I mean, they are at the NBA level now. And I'm not suggesting that the lower end guys are the Giannis's or whatnot. But them guys, the 9th and the 10th guy on the bench, in a lot of cases, he can play too. We got another comment coming in here. Let's see what we got here. Oh, sorry about that. He said, facts, Double J, and that makes it worse because you can't turn it off because it's actually a close game. Yeah, I'm trying to tell you.
Well, yeah, and I took the -11 as well. You know, like, oh, they don't have a chance. Nope, they're going to be up 25, of course.
Okay, so
why not? Why not today?
My water.
Yeah, no.
Oh no, you got my water and I got your Lucy. Unbelievable. This is unbelievable. Yeah. At the end of the day, again, if you're out there and you're listening, you're watching, go to YouTube and check out what Austin Rivers had to say about the highlight culture. I think it's very, very, very important that well, we played the clip last week on the show anyway, didn't we? Yeah, we did. But just in case you missed last week's episode or shop episode, go check that out on YouTube. It's very interesting what the man had to say. Very much so. All right, we keep things rolling.
Oh, wait a minute. You can't just put a spotlight on it. That's like, we turn on the lights on the roaches and we didn't even bring a can of Raid.
Okay, well, you don't need to because they're going to go running. You didn't know that?
You got to do something about the problem.
No, you don't.
What are you going to kill it with fire?
When you turn the lights on. Gully, do you got something you want to say about this? See, even he don't want to say. So what?
Y'all hitting everything on the head, man. I gotta understand too. Like, you gotta recognize too. This is a game of basketball that we've made into part of our fabric of our lives, and you got other guys who are playing for their livelihood. So when you have something like an agent who's representing maybe one or two players on the team, and the needle needs to move in a certain direction contract-wise, no, I don't need to let the eighth man on the team. I don't need the team to see that the eighth man on the team is really a 20 and 10 because Giannis is in a contract year. I can't afford to let that happen. So you got to understand. Yeah. So the livelihood is affected. And I have to say, we have to be honest with ourselves. It shouldn't necessarily damper the spirit of which we watch. It's almost like, again, why I say, Vince McMahon is probably one of the most influential figures in American culture, is because, you watch wrestling for some of the predictability and the theatrics, but the stories that are being told and the real action in between, there's enough realism there for you to be able to watch it. My point in all that is saying, yeah, you're not going to see good guys perform well because there are agendas behind a sixth or seventh or eighth man remaining on that spot, at least for that team. However, there's still enough of a game to be able to be played, to be enjoyed. And there's still enough of an incentive for young players to learn and dedicate themselves to the skill set for us to see them on Saturdays or Sundays or whenever they play.
Hey, now you sound like a purist. I'm cool with it because I want to see the other guys. I like a good basketball game. But at the end of the day, man, ain't it hurting the NBA's bottom line? If the major guys are not playing, and I mean, this getting to a point where it's getting at a high clip. A lot of these guys sitting out. They sitting out. They used to sit out maybe. They sitting out every other day now.
I mean, think about how quiet it is. The buzz is around Kawhi Leonard. From just a few seasons ago, because of his injury and his path back with injury and let's say like the protections behind him and his injury for his longevity. I was a big Kawhi Leonard fan.
Me too.
I still am, but it's hard to have that same sort of excitement about him when he's preserved in this way. And then to the point, like Anthony Davis, despite his preservation, he's still gonna have long gaps when he's injured. Like, is Anthony Davis playing now, or is he injured again?
He was supposed to come back either, I don't know, for the Lakers next game. He's supposed to be back.
And
I got something to say about them too. Let me get to another couple of these comments. D-Runk said, I saw what Rivers said, and it's true. Because like he said, everybody gets a high school mixtape these days. Kids play for the mixtape instead of the win. In addition to that, those fans, those who must not be named, they watch highlights and then want to come to the debate with all highlights. You can't come to the debate with highlights. Go to the water cooler, okay? Out of here. Go to the water cooler, okay? How you gonna make a full-fledged case off of highlights? Yeah, boo, you two, yeah. And D-Runk weighing in again. He said the Houston Rockets are the epitome of what kids are learning at lower levels these days. Absolutely, they are. You ain't got to say it twice or thrice. I'm just saying, man, this stuff needed to be said. Just like the rule needed to be changed, last year or a year or two ago for the defensive player about the jump shooter coming down, kicking his leg out, whatever it is. I mean, I get it. Everybody wants to see more scoring. But my goodness, man, they went way over the top with the way the rules were
Hang on a
given
second.
the advantage to the offensive player.
I disagree.
Oh,
And
please.
Here's why. I actually went into the comments section. Okay.
You disagree about that foul rule? Are we talking about that particular foul rule? Oh, I'm about to say.
Yeah.
He disagreed.
I'm like, yeah, put away his cup.
Yeah, put away his cup. Yeah, exactly.
Went into the comments. The Pistons lost on Monday to the Bucks, 150-130.
I saw that. I didn't see the game. I saw the score.
I think really didn't have to go.
What was the over and under in that game? 475?
No, that definitely would have been. It would have probably been maybe 238. So they were substantially over it.
Of course.
But it just goes to show, people said I would rather see a game that was 67-65 with the way that the 04 Pistons played. They can't stand what they're seeing.
You know why?
What was the shot selection like? Oh, don't sound like you, Barbershop.
Yeah, thank you. You do. You sound like me. Stay off the Lucia. That's all I'm telling you. You sound like me. What? How many? Go ahead, just talk. I'm not going to even mention shot selection again. I didn't said it ad nauseum. That's one of my biggest pet peeves.
No, it wasn't a rhetorical question. Like, what did the shot chart look like?
I know it wasn't. Double J, help us out. What did the shot chart?
Oh man, what is in his cup?
I'm done. That's it. I'm done. Y'all not gonna get another word out of me. Psych. Yeah, what is the shot chart look like? Yeah, say that fast 2 times.
I'm gonna show you at least just the quick Google version.
And while you do that, let me throw up D-Runk weighing in again. He said, Double J, I watched Pistons versus Bulls in Paris.
Oh.
In Paris?
Yeah.
They were in Paris?
Yep. Like Kanye.
Ball so hard. Yeah. Ball so hard.
Man, where was I at? Man. And Jaden Ivey didn't get to control the rock. Enough for me, especially with no Cunningham. Who posted that picture in the thread of Wembayama, Ivy, and Cunningham? Was that you, Double J?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guilty.
He's heavily in the Pistons sweepstakes, that's for sure. What are you gonna throw something up? Oh, did you throw it up there already? My bad.
Yeah, you just gotta add it.
Okay, add it to the stream here. Let's see what we got here. Okay. What are we looking for here, Double J?
52 3-pointers from the Bucks, but at a 44% clip. And 56% for the game. Now the Pistons shot at 50%, nearly, and 40% from the behind the arc.
Yeah, but you got to shoot 50 to get 50%. You got to shoot 100. My God. Okay, well, how many did the Bucks make?
23 out of 52.
And the Pistons, because I can't see the number right there. And the Pistons made how many did they take?
13 of 32.
So wait a minute. 84 3-pointers attempted in one game. 84.
Mm-hmm.
They had more 3-point attempts in one game than Kobe did in points scored in one game. Unbelievable.
But here's the killer. Look at the turnovers. Despite that wild amount of shots, which clearly means they were shooting with under 10, with 10 seconds or less based on these possessions.
Look at the turnovers.
38 turnovers combined. You turn the ball over 38 times.
But then you know what, too? Yeah, that's unbelievable. Well,
but
you know what, though?
This is it.
But you
this
look
is
at
what you're seeing.
Yeah, the free throw. If you look at the Bucks, though, all the way down the line, that's really that's when we talk about balance. I'm not a fan of the inordinate amount of 3-point attempts. But look at it.
But you're okay with it based on the percentage.
No, I'm okay with the I'm okay with the attempts as it all correlates to, like, for instance, the total rebounds. They had 50 total rebounds, 38 assists.
How could you not? They almost shot 100 times.
But they had 58 points in the paint too, though.
What?
They had 58 points in the paint too. See, I can live with. See, that means you utilizing just about every aspect of the court in your offensive sets. You
Man,
got
I'm gonna pull
points
this
in the
up.
paint.
Watch. If I go and pull this up on like the ESPN and show you their actual shot chart,
yeah, well, you're gonna have to do that.
You are going to see exactly. Matter of fact, I think we still have it here. I'm going to stop sharing because I think we still have the graphic. We're going to see something we already have.
No. Now you can already show the graphic.
You know what I'm talking about?
Show? Yeah, the shot chart.
Yeah.
Okay, but listen. Okay, but let me. Okay, well, go ahead, throw it up. Whatever one. I thought you was gonna put up the actual from the game, but that's fine. Throw up if you.
No. I am. That's what I was going to, but I'm like, wait a minute. What I think it's going to actually show is that shot chart that we already had.
No, not with the Bucks. Not with the Bucks going for 58 points in the paint. Can you find the actual shot chart from that game? Yeah. Find the actual shot chart from that game. Gully, what say you? You seen the graph? You think that's balanced all the way down the line? This guy's eating a St. Louis burger right now. Lord have mercy. Unbelievable. He done left the show to go all the way to St. Louis. D-Runk, man, I wish you would have saved that towards the end. You should have saved it towards the end. My gosh. Yeah, I do. I really want to see the shot chart. Even though the one that you were going to throw up, the one that we've used, it was either feast or famine. You were either all the shots were either well above the 3-point line or right at the basket, but none in between. Show me that Bucks and then points in the paint. I'm telling you, I guarantee you it's more spread out. Of course, you're going to see a lot of, they shot 52 threes, but they did good from the line. They had 38 assists. I mean, come on, man. You can't get a better stat line than that. I'm talking about all the way up and down, all across the board. You can't get a better stat line than that. Do you have it? No? All right, bear with us, y'all. This is where we cue the Jeopardy music. Oh, you going to put it on the TV in the background? No?
I got it. We're ready.
Okay. I don't see it on my end.
It's coming.
Okay.
There we go. Go ahead.
All right. Let's see what we got here. Oh my gosh. Oh man. Oh wow.
Man, this is lava. All this right here is just lava. They cannot. Oh man.
Okay, can you see my cursor too? Can you all see mine? No,
I can't see it because I have this. Oops, there we go.
Okay, no. Okay, you
look at that. Yes, they didn't waste time. Look at that. This is why. Yeah, this is why this is a boring game to watch.
No, actually, the Pistons. The Pistons. I like.
I knew it. It was Bogdanovich.
I like the Pistons shot selections more than I do the Bucks.
I know, because the Bucks shot chart is indicative of why the game is boring to watch. Look at how much real estate was not used at all to shoot.
Thank you, Gully. I'm gonna start using that. Thank you. Shout out to Gully for coming up with the word of the day. The term, rather, real estate. That's what we go, man. Woo, this dude be on top of it. Good looking out there, Gully. Yeah, look at the real estate or lack thereof that was utilized. Yeah, Double J, you're right. That Bucks shot chart looked like the one that we've been using in the past. But I like this Pistons shot chart better. Are you going quarter by quarter?
No, I wanted to just show how Ivy specifically actually uses all three.
Well,
he made up about a third of those shots that are in the mid-range.
Yeah, well, you better know Ivy does. I mean, if you didn't see him at Purdue, shame on you. And speaking of which, while we got this up here right quick, I noticed in the NBA news section over here, Anthony Davis to come off the bench and return to Lakers lineup. Y'all think that's gonna work? Or is he really Anthony Band-Aid?
Well, I think that speaks to the Band-Aid. That he doesn't want to pull it off all at once.
Oh, okay, got you. He don't want to play center either.
No, hang on a second. You do
No,
realize
he doesn't.
he intentionally lists himself at 6'10" because it by default puts him at the 4.
Oh, at the 4. Oh, yeah, wow. And speaking of the Lakers, though, isn't it funny or ironic that 4 of the current Lakers are former Wizards? All except for the one who should be a Laker, Kyle Kuzma.
He was a Laker. LeBron shipped him out of town.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
For Russ.
But listen, again, the Lakers are sitting there with 4 Wizards, former Wizards on their team. How come the former Wizard shouldn't still be a Laker? Or the current Wizard, who's a former Laker, shouldn't be a current Laker and instead be a former Wizard?
Well, now, wait a minute. We talked about this.
Now say that fast 2 times.
Go to these standings really quick and see if those agree with you. Uh-oh. Oof. There's your Wizards.
Yeah, but that's Kyle Kuzma balling. What that Kyle Kuzma doing this thing?
Well,
can't help because Bradley Beal low managing.
Oh, that's a good point too. Yeah, you're right.
Bradley been low managing like a champ.
Well, wait, he's getting didn't he make enough to buy the team?
I don't know what he did, but
his deal was ridiculous.
Yeah. That
was a generational wealth deal. That was
I ain't mad at him though.
Yeah, nope, not one bit.
Get your reparations.
You own half of Chinatown and
yeah.
It's all said and done.
Yeah, and Rocket Mortgage too while you at it. All right. Yeah. Okay, so oh man, this is unbelievable, man.
Look at Bro Rich's Knicks right there in the thick of things.
Yeah, I'm looking at that, man. Tom Thibodeau done found some offense. What's up with that? Yeah, he done found some offense. Okay, Tom Thibodeau. I see you, Thibodeau. Yeah, these playoffs, the All-Star game right around the corner. I don't know who would want to go to Utah. No offense to nobody out there, but we live in Cleveland. It's cold. Utah this time of year? Absolutely not. And I'm just talking about due to the currents and the weather. Got another comment rolling in here. Doc said because LeBron decided he was done with him. You talking about Kyle Kuzma? Absolutely, Doc. Absolutely. But then want to talk about management need to know what they need to do, man, to give me some help. Oh, please. I'm tired of hearing it. Anywho, let's move things right along. So at the end of the day, that was the end of our Hoop Central segment and what he said, obviously. Last but not least is the Gridiron. Even though I probably should have did that first, but I wanted to get to the basketball stuff and get that out the way. Obviously, and then there were 4. Or should I say the stage is now set. D-Runk got another comment when he said Julius Randle playing like Dr. J this year. Hey, man, you know what, though, right quick, before we talk NFL playoffs, divisionals, NFC championships, Jalen Brunson is balling for the Knicks. A lot of people thought that he was just I don't know what they thought he was in Dallas. Second, third fiddle to Luka's, whatever Luka's doing, no offense. But before he went over to New York, they was like, man, Jalen Brunson, he ain't gonna really be all that, man, because he was Luka's patsy or whatever they called him. He over there standing. Jalen Brunson is as good as advertised. He made a difference on that New York squad, man. What you think they getting ready to do with Derrick Rose, Gully?
What do you mean? He's perfect coming off the bench.
Listen,
you think so?
Yeah, I think it's ideal. I don't know, man. New York Knicks basketball has just always been. Let me not get too nostalgic here. We see this coming. They've had so many instances over the years where they're going to turn it around. They got what they need to be successful, to become a threat.
I wasn't going that far. Hold on, wait a minute. Slow down there, Kimosabi. Wait a minute, slow it down, because you can have me off in no man's land. Okay, you finna send me down the rabbit hole. No. I watch out who I'm talking to, y'all. This guy right here, he picks apart everything I say. What I mean by with the Knicks, what we haven't seen from the Knicks in I'm talking about before, that the blood in the garden type Knicks. From Tom Thibodeau in particular, his teams were always predicated on defense. You heard what Joakim Noah said some years ago about running us in the ground and all that type of stuff. Now they look like they got some offense to kind of go along with that defense, right? And when was the last time we seen the Knicks? And I'm not saying that they're going to be, they're not a championship contender or whatnot, but right now, the way they're playing right now, don't you think it brings some relevancy to New York, the mecca of hoop once again, if ever so slightly, Gully?
Yes, I want it to be. I want that to be the case. I don't have to. I want it to be the case, man. New York has done so much for the game of basketball. It's a darn shame that they've never really had a team in that area since Phil Jackson was a player. To exemplify.
Hey, is Brooklyn in the house? I mean, come on. What?
So you said
New York? Oh, tell me this: when last time they won a title?
Oh, don't do that.
And when last time were they title relevant?
In the 90s.
Yeah, 1993 is 30 years ago.
But so why?
Yeah, I mean, we're pushing. They just redid the Notorious B.I.G.'s Juicy in 4K. So
yeah,
okay, now that was disrespectful to mention on the program.
Yeah. Do you understand what we're talking about here? We talking about here. Listen, in 5 more years,
you went to Pat Riley's
it will be 30 years. Listen, in 5 more years, it will be 30 years since the New York Knicks have reached the NBA final. In 5 more years. Oh, I'm sorry, 6 more years. 1999. All right, 6 more. They got 6 years to not let it be 30 years since you get what I'm trying to say?
Okay. So wait.
No, Rando B guy.
Double J, you can't do that. Can I read the comment first, please? Thank you. They thought Jalen Brunson was a Reggie Jackson. That's D-Runk saying that.
Hey, man.
Doc said the Knicks are
Jackson,
open.
I tell him every time he owes Detroit money. He always laughs at me too. And Reggie
Doc
Jackson,
said back when Grandpa didn't have to fix his glass to hear better. Oh,
hell no.
This is what I'm saying, Doc. Doc, hey, no more Paige and Mrs. Alva. No more Saturday night in front of the candlelit fireplace. These two drinking Lucia. That's it. Absolutely not. That's it. This is it. That's all. It's a wrap over there. So Gully, what you saying? So you saying the 90s Knicks were irrelevant compared to Phil's Knicks because Phil's Knicks won a championship?
I'm not saying that they were irrelevant, but the point is we either talking about a 50-year-old era or a 30-year-old era. In which case we're talking about combined 80 years since they've been relevant, and that's what it feels like.
I mean, keep in mind, we're approaching 15 years since the Pistons won. So you're talking about a New York team being relevant, and that happened a decade later.
Exactly.
Is it a mutiny?
Yeah.
Is that what this is?
No, what I'm saying is New York. What I'm saying is the New York Knickerbockers franchise needs to be relevant. Because it's a tragic irony for the state of basketball that the mecca of basketball has had trash bags and a half for the better part of 30 years.
Oh, my gosh. Well, tell them how you really feel, why don't you? Oh, man. Okay, well, I can't argue that. I mean, the truth is the truth. What we want me to say? I mean, but you gotta like this brand of basketball that the Knicks are playing. Well, let me ask you this. Is it when you watch them, are they somewhat surprising?
Yeah, it's surprising. It's refreshing. Like you said, to your point, when you talk about a team with Tibbs actually having I think it's I think it's a bit misleading though. But if we want to say that they offensively, they're offensively adept, that's great. I didn't think that he had inefficient offensive teams before, especially when he had D Rose in Chicago. I mean, D Rose and Luol Deng were definitely reliable buckets. And I believe Jamal Crawford wasn't there at that time. He wasn't there with them. But Taj Gibson and so I thought they had and Nate Robinson spent some time there. I thought that they always were capable offensively. I never thought that they were just a team full of Ben Wallace's.
You mean you're talking about the Pistons or the Bulls?
I'm talking about a Thibodeau coached team.
Oh, okay.
I never thought his teams were all defense and all D and no O.
Yeah, D-Runk, he joined in the party here. He said Nick spent 3 years building around Kimber Walker. Oh, he said, my bad. I meant Nate Robinson. He's wrong for that. Oh, wow. Y'all really going in on them Knicks. Okay, it's all to the good. Yeah. Watch the Knicks knock somebody off in the first round. Then we're gonna have to revisit this whole situation and conversation. But in the meanwhile, the stage is set for the AFC and the NFC championship games to be played this Sunday. In the AFC, of course, we have the Bengals and the Chiefs. Double J, what is the line now in that game? And what do you think it will be come game time or once we get closer to game time? Because that Patrick Mahomes ankle injury, I don't care nothing about. You can call it a high ankle sprain if you want to. Okay. That mobility is going to be hindered considerably. I guarantee you that. And the Bengals defense is decent enough. Hey, they could go in there and win it again. Tell me I'm lying. And here's the crazy part. The Bengals lose how many offensive linemen within the last 2 or 3 weeks? And whoever it is to replace the guys that were lost played better than the guys that they replaced. They only gave up 1 slack. How about that? Yeah, what'd you make of that AFC championship, the Bengals and the Chiefs? What? Tell me. Do tell.
So the spread is 2.5 Cincinnati.
Whoa. It's who? What happened?
So minus 2.5 for Cincinnati is
tight.
what it opened. It has since dropped by a full point.
So it's 1.5.
That's right.
In Kansas City?
So
they must know. I'm telling you that Mahomes ankle deal. I'm trying to tell you. Hold on. Let me get to a couple of these.
So the original, hang on. Let me rephrase. The original number was plus 1.5 for Cincinnati, and it flipped to minus 1.5. They went from underdogs to favorites.
That's why I did my head like that. Oh no. Oh no. Let me get to a couple of these comments. Doc weighing in again. He says, I say Joe Burrow throws for 300 yards and they win by 307. I wouldn't be surprised. Let's get Gully back in here. Doc weighing in again. He said Purdy will be sitting Purdy with the 10-point victory over Philly. Yeah, we can ready to get to that one next, Doc. Yeah, that's it.
If you're putting money on it, you need to just put money on. Take the odds right now for, I think it's plus 360 for Cincinnati to win the whole thing.
Oh, let me stay away from that. See, I had to leave the ponies alone, baby. I had to leave the ponies alone. D-Runk saying Joe Burrow is the opposite of Josh Allen. Absolutely. Allen is all regular season, Burrow's all postseason. Man, that comment, man, if it's not his play on the field, and then D-Runk weighing in again, he said Mahomes has never, and he emphasized, uppercased, never beaten Burrow. Absolutely. Now, what was I getting ready to say? See, dag nabbit once again. Oh, what he said, that comment that Joe Burrow made, because the NFL had the Bills won. The NFL had already sold how many tickets to the neutral site? That is the thing about him that reminds me, and I don't like doing the player comparison thing, but I'm just reminded of Joe Montana. And I'm getting ready to tell you all a little short story about Joe Montana in this Super Bowl year, the first time they went with Jesse Sapolo was one of the offensive linemen, Fred McIntyre and them guys and such. But Joe Burrow, more so than his play, and he got weapons and all of that, okay, right? But it's what come out of his mouth, man, in pressure-packed type situations. You know how the media can be after a game, and asking what they consider to be the hard questions. Man, this dude said right there on the field, man. I don't know what the lady asked him, but his response was all the way on point. They better go get a refund. I ain't mad. I ain't mad at you, JB. That's Joe Cool all day, every day. Doc went in again. He said, if San Fran meets the Bengals in the Super Bowl, that San Fran defense is going to tear the Bengals apart. I don't know, Doc. I disagree. And I'm telling you, Joe Burrow going to be the difference. I'm trying to tell you. And that little short 49er story, right quick. I think it was 81. The 49ers played the Bengals twice in Super Bowls. Yes, I think it was the first time they played them when Ken Anderson was the quarterback for the Bengals. On that game-winning drive by the 49ers and Joe Cool, every 49ers player, because that was the year Dwight Clark caught the pass or whatever the case may be, right? If I'm not mistaken, there were no other 49ers players who had any type of maybe even, I don't think Super Bowl experience, maybe not even playoff experience. I'm not sure. Neither did Joe Montana, obviously. Well, up until that year, okay, as far as the extra round experience. But definitely not Super Bowl experience. Jesse Sapolu, if I'm saying that right, don't ask me how to spell it, even though they call me Mr. Gramley. I could not do so today. I think somebody, again, switched out my water, but it's all good. We'll get to the bottom of this. Said in the Sports Illustrated he said, when we were in the huddle prior to the start of that drive, Joe was having some last-minute conversation with Bill Walsh, about whatever they were going to do, during that drive or whatnot. So he comes to the huddle, and Sapolo was like, man, everybody else in the huddle was like, man, it was doubt. Oh, man, can we do it? The pressure. The Super Bowl is on the line. Ask Dan Marino. Some guys never get back. So that's all going through their minds. Everybody in the huddle. Keena Turner. Was he the wide receiver or the linebacker? My bad. Russ Francis. Everybody. He said Joe walked in the huddle and was like, hey, he looked and seen the nervousness on everybody's faces. He was like, hey, man, where we going for dinner? 65 toss power trap on 5 break. Oh, Joe Cool, baby. And they went down there and won the game. Jesse said, that's when I knew we was going to win the game. Joe was like, I did this at Notre Dame. This ain't no sweat. Just keep that guy off me. That's all. Keep Tim Crumbride where he need to be. Even though that was in the second Super Bowl. I'm just saying. Got another comment rolling in right here. D-Runk said, Joe Burrow robbed us of the biggest AFC championship game of all time in ATL. Y'all agree or no? I don't know. The man's offensive line has been horrible since Double J been making Lucia runs from Kentucky. It's been a couple of 100 years now is what I'm saying, baby. The bourbon is smoking, baby. The bourbon is smoking. Hey, I don't know. What you think, Double J? Do you think it robbed him? We try to get Gully back before we get out of here, but if not, appreciate him for being on. What say you?
It's hard to argue that he did, even given the example that you just provided of not getting back. To his point, it's hard to say that it wasn't. It would, because look at what's happened since.
So you think
this dude he's doing what Mahomes has done, right? Mahomes has appeared in the last 5 AFC championship games.
Yeah.
But if this, we all know, you can just ask the Buffalo Bills about, when somebody's your kryptonite. In their case, it was the Dallas Cowboys. It is what it is. And so
in the case of Dallas Cowboys, who's kryptonite? The 49ers?
Well, I'm talking about Buffalo from in the 90s.
Oh. Yeah, well. Yeah. And the NFC East, period. I believe they lost to the Giants, too. I believe. Yeah, I think they lost to the Giants. Let's get to this other comment right quick. D-Runk weighing in again. He said, I only say that because of the location. That game in Atlanta would have been the closest thing to the Super Bowl without the Super Bowl. Yeah, that's why I don't disagree.
Think about it, Jay. When would we have ever seen anything like that again? Because just given the circumstances, you wouldn't want it to potentially happen again based on the how or more so the why behind it. Unless there was
the owners was gonna have some up their sleeves had that went down.
Well, what they've proven time and time again, and this is where Detroit's been a beneficiary, and I happen to take advantage of it each time, is when, inclement weather or a roof collapses, that you know,
Gully's back with us.
They've proven that you can move the game, and that if you build it, they will come type of thing. So
yeah, but that's a disadvantage to the fans. Gully, I'm gonna let you weigh in a second. That's
how
a disadvantage
so?
to the fans.
How so? Buffalo
Listen,
played 2 games in Detroit in a matter of like 7 days. At one point, in
that's
time,
regular
they had
season.
won more games.
Yeah,
in,
you can
it back to back in that time frame than the Lions had ever done in that building, if I recall.
Yeah, but
in that short amount of time,
you can flex, so to speak, a regular season game. You get what I'm saying? But this a playoff game, you don't. An AFC championship at a neutral site.
We haven't seen that since when?
Okay, but what are you doing to those?
When
what are you doing to those fans?
AFL, and I don't even think that was the case.
Okay, so then what's the point of playing for the number 1 seed and having home field advantage? So you can play the AFC championship game in Atlanta? No, you don't do. No disrespect to ATL. They put on a good. Hey, when you come, they come. They show up and show out. Okay,
well,
but you don't do that to Buffalo fans. You don't do that for Chiefs fans. You don't do that to them. This is not the college football playoff. Okay, well, Ohio State fans travel well. All right, that's not what this is. Gully,
these
what do you
teams
got?
Travel. If your team is there, look at college basketball, right? Though any important game of significance, which comes by way of conference tournament or the tournament.
Let's replay this.
Go ahead, Gully.
What it has been, here's the tragic irony. Red Right 88 taking place in the Pontiac Silverdome.
It would not have had this. Yeah, it would not have had the same impact.
I'm bringing up Browns losses. The drive inside of New Orleans, inside of who's another dome?
The Superdome.
Inside of Houston Oilers Stadium.
Jerry's World. Come on, man. People used to love doing that.
The fumble inside of name who else playing the dome. Period.
Hang on. So you're bringing up the outdoor side of it. So if it
no, I'm not bringing up the outdoor side of it. I'm bringing up the story being told of the coach. Like, bro, like you're playing a conference championship. You're playing for the number 1 seed. The number 1 seed theoretically will generate less revenue from the playoffs than a lower ranked seed, because let's say it's Buffalo. Buffalo will have had, or let's say Cincinnati. Cincinnati in this train of thought, by this logic, Cincinnati will have played 2 games at home. Potentially, like a team like that, they may be able to play 2 games at home, being a lower ranked seed than the team that was able to sit out. Now, if the goal is some backwards form of parity, then this definitely does it, because the number 1 seed will have the week off. They have 1 home game, everybody on neutral site. The lower ranked seed will have 2 home games, so the owners can generate more revenue not the owners can generate more revenue. The fan bases can celebrate more in that team's run up until a neutral site. But I don't understand.
There's nothing better than celebrating in a new, area that
you're not winning nothing. This is the conference championship.
Down Bourbon Street. You're doing something different. If it's an Indy, you're at St. Elmo's, burning your nose with the horse.
No, that may be true. That may be true for college football. But here's the thing. Here's another thing from the fans' side of things. Let's say the Kansas City Chiefs, because if I'm not mistaken, the Chiefs actually had an issue with this whole neutral site thing. If I'm not mistaken.
Well, their issue was that they outright had a better record, and they outright had a better record, so it should never been a question. They ultimately ended the season with more wins than Buffalo or Cincinnati, so for them there should never have been a case for a neutral site, because
the head-to-head.
Okay, that's fine. But don't you want to play? You want to play in front of your fans in their home stadium. Think about the guy who comes there, who's been coming to Arrowhead, whatever, for 30 years, tailgating in his favorite tailgate spot. Now you're gonna send him to Atlanta. He has no idea about the geography. Now he got to go. He's pulling his 48-foot trailer with all bratwurst and stuff on it that he's used to parking at Lot C. Now all of a sudden you ask him to park in Lot F, and he has no idea where it's at. What are you doing?
Hang on. If that guy's really ride or die like that, he's going. He's going.
Okay, listen, what I'm telling you is the logistics is going to be.
What about the LA fans?
conundrum.
Hang on. We sit here, let's
Oh,
not pretend
LA
like the
fans are-
Raiders
oh,
haven't
please.
been moved already. You know, they didn't move from Oakland to Las Vegas, that the Chargers didn't move from San Diego to Los
Okay.
Angeles.
And
You
it's a
can't
reason
even
why.
tailgate because of the laws in California at SoFi Stadium. So
Okay.
come on, what are we
Okay,
talking about?
And I'm glad you mentioned SoFi Stadium because that's going to make my next point. First of all, LA is an exception to the rule. Okay. They prima donnas out there anyway. Okay. All right. They eat palm trees in December. I'm just saying. Okay. We talking about St. Louis, the Missouri. We talking about where you get 48 feet of snow in a blizzard, baby. All right. And again, to Gully's point, you could not replay Red Right 88 or the drive or the fumble at SoFi Stadium and it have the same lore. You can't do it. You know when John Facenda's voice comes on, for all of y'all who don't know John Facenda, he was the voice of the NFL and some of their narrative stuff, you know, from games back in the day. John Facenda's, when his voice come on, that's what made the story compelling. In the cold tundra of Cleveland Brown Municipal Stadium, there was an ice felt, and then the Ice Bowl with the Cowboys and the Packers. Man, stop it. What are they gonna say about
See, cold weather teams, like we talk about that, right? Cold weather teams play the game differently to take advantage of the cold weather. So you imagine, right. So I mean, that's what kind of made it remarkable what the Patriots did to the Rams in the Super Bowl, but because the Rams were a dome team. But imagine though, you are the Packers. You're grinding it out in sub freezing temperatures. And you get the advantage of having to play like a 49ers team in the area that you're in, the lane in an environment you're used to, only for the game to be moved to Atlanta, where all your work to be a number one seed and went for nothing because now you're on a turf and they're able to utilize that. You know what I mean?
And all you need is for Jamal Anderson to get turf toe again, and that's it. It's over with. Wraps kaput. Oh, there you go. Now you're back on the screen. That's saying, yeah, Gully, we got him. He cornered. He can't go nowhere. And I'm with you, though, Jerry's World, the venue. That venue is maybe, or Indianapolis. Those venues are good for other things such as, I don't know, NCAA Final Four, or Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, which should have been at Jerry's World. That's what that venue is good for, but not for no NFC championship game. No.
On why you may disagree. So I told you the other day, I said, hey, I'm playing the Jordan challenges in 2K, which I'm still on the first one because it's a little bit harder than I thought.
I have no idea.
So
I was challenged when I saw Jordan hit the shot at Richfield Coliseum.
Well, and this is it. You have to match his stats from the game. And it was this first one was, of course, the final against Georgetown with Ewing. And apparently he was very fast, and so was his counterpart comes off the bench. That didn't work either. So nevertheless, what was said during the commentary is that they were not particularly thrilled about playing in a dome, and that both teams in the semifinal shot 15% below their traditional average in terms of actual scoring production.
Yeah, they played in the Carrier Dome, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
No, they were in New Orleans for the final.
Was that New Orleans? I thought it was the Carrier Dome. Okay, go ahead.
So my point to you is your statement may not actually be true. It's just it comes with the territory. When I was at that. Speaking of D-Rung, I was at the Edward Jones Dome in 2003 for Kansas versus Georgia Tech, and I didn't realize that was the first time I learned that they had on the opposite side of the benches that it was they stacked kind of those that they pulled them out. It was essentially at midfield. So you had half the field empty with the lights off in the background.
Yeah, didn't the Pistons used to play somewhere? Where'd they play at? The Palace, Auburn Hills?
No, they played at Cobo Hall, and at one point in time in the 80s, they played at the Silver Dome also, briefly.
The Silver Dome, right. Yeah, and I remember they curtained off the Silver Dome. I listen, I get it. Those indoor venues are, because we Gully, I don't know about you, but I've been an advocate here, and I think Haslam has too, to some degree. Like, they're discussing possibly putting a dome on First Energy or some sort of thing where they can open the roof on occasion, whatever. They need it because it makes no sense for outdoor stadium. I get it. That's what football is played, and I know this is what we're talking about here. But there are other uses you could get out of it throughout the year that bring more income into the community and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, if I'm the NFC or AFC championship participant, and I'm Kansas City, Cincinnati, 49ers, or the Eagles, I don't want to play in Atlanta. I want to play in Philadelphia where they throw snowballs at Santa Claus. That's where I want to play. What are you going to do? Bring a snowball into the Georgia Dome? Please, it'll be melted. Oh, my gosh. Yes. So absolutely not. No. Football is meant to be, that's the one sport that's meant to be played outdoors. When you were a kid growing up and you were playing in the backyard, I was playing in the snow. You couldn't wait. Some people can't wait for snow because of Christmas and all that. No. When I was coming up, we wanted snow so we could go out there and play tackle. Come on, man. Or in the rain or in the mud. Okay, ask Conrad Dobler. Ask Paul Hornung. Don't disrespect Otto Graham Cracker, baby.
Well, yeah, the idea that the Super Bowl is a neutral site is simply because you're at that point dealing with champion versus champion. So irrespective of record, you're dealing with a champ. Yeah, and that's why in the spirit of the Super Bowl, the AFL champion was a legitimate champion, just like the NFL champion. So for it to be a neutral site, you're dealing with teams that, like an IBF champion and WBA champion, they are champions in their own right. Nobody has earned that right at that point as you play in a conference championship game. It don't make sense. Matter of fact, if we extend it to the college season, the reason why those are neutral sites is because the Big Ten champion is playing the ACC champion, the Big 12 champion is playing the SEC champion. They're champions in their own right, so it has to be neutral.
Thank you. You don't play the conference championships at a neutral site. The NFL thought they was on to something. I can see the owners licking their chops, like, yeah, we're gonna give the players. The next deal, we're going to get the players 16% while we get the other 80, whatever the case may be. Man, cut me in or cut out. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, if the owners had said anything at the negotiating tables, this is what it would have sounded like. All right, let's get this other comment going in right here. Doc weighing in again. It's a Michigan thing today, Gully. I don't agree with the neutral site for any game except the Super Bowl. Oh, my bad, Doc. I was premature.
Look at that. Look at that.
I thought you were agreeing with Double J right there. My bad. All right. Let me give myself a button right there. Breaking news. Barbershop J has had a faux pas. Okay. Doc weighing in again. You play the conference championship at the place of whichever team has the better record. Thank you, Doc. I'm glad somebody came and talking some sense on this program today. It's unbelievable the stuff that come out some folks' mouth. So at the end of the day, Gully, can the Bengals go in it? Did I spell Chiefs right on my notes here? CHEFIES. Did I spell that right?
Oh, that's you like the Snickers commercial. That's great, guys. But who are the chefs?
Oh, really? That's how you gonna play me? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you wearing the glasses like them. Hey, you gotta say it. You gotta say it. Great googly moogly.
Yeah, great googly moogly. Get off my phone. We got a couple more comments rolling in here. Doc weighing in again. What are he saying here? Ain't that what we play for? Hello? This is listen, Doc, you gotta understand. Shout out to Double J and the Alvas for purchasing their home. But he's brand new now. He got trash cans that talk to him. Miss Alva said no. You know, she wanted to keep things simple and earthly. You know, this guy got to go out.
No.
Look at the TV in the background. He got a 95-inch TV. He can talk to it. Hey, Siri, can you go get me my Lucia? I'm just saying. Yeah.
And it's only motion.
Yeah.
It only goes off of motion.
Yeah. Oh, he got motion detectors on his TV. Excuse me, then there, Bougie J. We play to stay at home, not meet up somewhere else. Thank you, Doc. Okay, Doc, you're on my side today. Sound like he spelled it. The chefs, absolutely. Yeah, he had too much Lucia this evening. Yeah, of course he did, Doc. I'm telling you, man. I see already. You know what I'm saying? Already in the man background, he done went and updated everything. I mean, he don't even use regular silverware, from my understanding. Miss Alva tried to talk him out of it. No. See, she grew up in a rural community where people still write cursive. They still mail letters.
Believe me, that's what I thought too.
No, I'm telling you they do. And I bet you did. I bet you Mrs. Alva could remember 5 phone numbers off memory. Man, I talked to some people the other day. And I said, man, what's your aunt's phone number? You remember your aunt's phone number? Man, if I ain't got it in my phone, I'm in. Oh, really? Oh, wow. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you keep up with that. Anyway,
hang on a second. They don't even know what two countries border the United States these days.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm just saying. Miss Alba said, "Oh, Double J, why are you killing the comments?" Say, "Oh, now you don't want to." Yeah, she said, "I want to
the thing about
it." What you say, Gully?
Well, the countries haven't moved.
This is what I'm saying, man. It's the red Lucia that get him going like that. You know what I mean? Usually it'd be the blue. I don't know what's going on with the red. So I mean, again, Gully, you think the Chiefs the Chefs, can they go? Can the Bengals go in there and do that to Patrick again? And do you think that ankle is any good?
It's gonna be good enough for them. This is where you miss that X factor. See, I feel like now the presence or lack thereof of a Tyreek Hill is going to show up.
Hold that thought. Doc said Double J over there doing the podcast with a Versace microphone. Oh, keep them coming, y'all. Keep them coming. This is why we do what we do. Go ahead, Gully. Finish your thought. You said the absence of
yeah, I think so. It's gonna I don't know how healthy that ankle is, but the other thing about it is, we talk about the numbers and all that, and we know that historically, in recent memory, the Bengals have beaten the Chiefs now 3 straight times. That looms over someone's head, man. Remember, once upon a time, Michael Jordan and the Bulls did not beat the Cavs the entire 6 times they played in the regular season, but then we have the shot. So at some point, the idea of having beaten you plenty of times before may not bode well when you talk about extra elements or extra momentum or extra encouragement. Understand this. This is the 5th straight conference championship that the Chiefs are in. I don't know how long a team's era is, but they're 5 years into theirs. I don't know how long. Yeah, we got to start looking at the window closing before a rebuild happens. I mean, because this is the 5th straight now. So we don't realize how long it's been. I mean, it's been long. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's been a while. And it's cool that it's been a while, and that in each year, the road to a Super Bowl went through Kansas City. But for a team like Kansas City, you don't have too many, hey, we're going to be right back here next year. Not in the football. You know what I'm saying? Oh, no, not in football. I don't know.
That's a good point, man. Doc weighing in again. He said the absence of the cheetah will be felt. Yep. Then he gonna say, if the Chiefs want to win, my homeboy better keep all his passes on Apple's side of the field. He talking about Eli Apple. Hold on. He said, or start utilizing Tony way more than what they have been. Yeah. I think was that D-Ron? Oh, D-Ron said, I just think with Mahomes being injured, it's a wrap this year for the Chiefs. Yeah, because if you watch that injury, the way it unfolded. And that guy that came down on him, that wasn't no cornerback, no defensive back, or no kicker. That was a D lineman or a linebacker. Them guys, they eat a lot of bacon, man. I'm just saying, them guys heavy in the pants, bro. And he came down. The way his ankle turned, you can call it a Highland sprain if you want to. I done seen that happen before.
They said that about Tony Pollard, and then the day after the game, it said his broken fibula.
That's what I'm trying to listen. That's what it looked to me like. Something got broke. And with Mahomes being one of them guys who still uses mobility to attune maybe a little bit more than some other guys, that's a hindrance. And you going up against the Bengals? I don't know where their defense is at or whatnot, but I tell you what. But let me say this too about the Chiefs. I mentioned it last week, I think, when we were doing the divisionals, but I'm going to say it again here because I think this is a very interesting tidbit. Let me get to this comment right quick, though. D-Runk said, Chiefs already rebuilt when they let Tyrann Mathieu and Tyreek Hill walk. Picked up Kadarius Toney. The Chiefs defense, shout out to Karlaftis and what's my number? What's the guy number 95? Ford. That's his name. Chris Ford. Is it Chris Ford? Am I saying that right? Yeah. The Chiefs defense under Andy Reid, that's a little bit better showing for defense than I can recall. But speaking of Andy Reid, once again, I'll mention, if I'm not mistaken, he has 19 playoff wins, 15 of those wins by double digits. So, Gully, do you still say after that right there, you still say you think the Bengals got the Chiefs number?
I'm not certain that I think that I want the Bengals to win it because I don't think they're gonna have as wide a window as people might think. Andy Reid has already shown a precedent of being able to be a franchise builder as a coach.
Okay.
I think that what I'm saying is I think that the Chiefs as currently constituted, that window might be closing, right? We got to get some reinvention. I think the Chiefs actually could win this game. Me going with the Bengals is fandom and not scientific, not theoretical.
Okay.
I want the Bengals to win it. I think the Chiefs gonna take care of it this year.
Okay, well, it ain't like the Bengals don't have no scientifics behind them that they could win it. I mean, you just
they don't.
No, yeah, they do. They got some scientifics behind them. They got
I'm saying, yeah, to your point, I said that wrong. I said that like you were saying everything today. So I messed up. So
right. You're pulling the BSJ. I got
you. Yeah. So no, I think the Bengals are certainly capable. I mean, they've shown it. The biggest reason why is because their team leader, Joe Burrow, has so much poise. That Joe Cool, that calmness under pressure is elite level. Like I have yet to really see him voice, or express visible frustration. Remember how many times he was sacked last season en route to a Super Bowl?
Yes. Hey,
right. You wouldn't know the number. Go ahead.
Is there a metric for being unvisibly shaken or not visibly shaken under pressure?
Yeah.
Is there a metric for that?
Yeah. They haven't lost since October.
Okay, I got you. Double J, what say you to that? Because if I'm not mistaken, somebody on this program, D-Runk, Doc, Mrs. Alva, I want you all to bear witness to this. Somebody on this program, and we ain't had Brother Richard here in a minute. Again, to all the viewers and the folks out there, he will be back with us hopefully sooner rather than later, but he's filming a movie of some sort, and it's supposed to be a banger. But anywho, there are two people on this program, maybe three. No, it was TJ and Double J. I had to pull the tape. At that point in the season, Gully, remember when we talked about the Browns? Oh, when Deshaun Watson gets back, the Browns are going to run the table. No, what they did was ended up running Joe Woods out of town. That's what happened.
They ran into the table and knocked over all the food.
You know what I'm trying to say? Oh, get him, Gully. Don't hurt him, baby. Don't hurt him. And then on top of that, somebody else, they both said, what they say about the Bengals, Gully? You want to run that by me again? Because I think you said better than me.
They finished. They over. They ain't winning another game. They finished. They playing Brady? Are they playing Brady?
Wait a second. Don't forget Doug and everybody else in the locker room that went through that same schedule.
No. We're looking at the ringleaders in this one. The ringleaders.
Yeah. You right there. Yeah, look, keep looking at that screen. Yeah, right there. Yeah. Keep looking at that screen. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We can run it back. I'll play the show.
Yeah, Doc weighing in again. He said Burrow was the most sacked quarterback in the league last year. Yeah. D-Runk said we might get a Chad Henne versus Brock Purdy Super Bowl. It's a possibility. Doc said again, like my Delusion brothers. You know what I'm trying to? Yeah, that's what we're gonna call them, Delusion brothers. Yeah. Doc said again, NGL. I was a supporter of Watson coming back. I even grabbed him out of the waiver wire in fantasy football. Big mistake. Well, Doc, let me say this to you though. I'll get to your comment here in a second, D-Runk. What people fail to realize about D. Watson, he is a franchise quarterback, there's no question. I think the Browns finally, Gully, would you say that in your lifetime, in our lifetime, since you've been living, since we've been cousins, would you say that the Browns finally got a franchise quarterback?
In my lifetime, yeah, no question.
Okay.
No question. Bernie Kosar, 3 decades of misery, Deshaun Watson.
I'm trying to tell you. Thank you. But for a guy who missed 700 days of no football activity, whatever, to the level that he needed to be in order for him to come back to run the table, as somebody said on this program, you can't miss 700 days. You hear athletes talk about it all the time, about not being in game shape, or game speed is different from doing it by yourself speed and all that kind of stuff. That guy was, and you could see flashes or moments of why he is a franchise quarterback. But to expect him to come back after 700 days off and run the table, absolutely not. Unbelievable. D-Runk weighing in again. He said Rams had the season everybody predicted the Bengals to have. Yeah, well, I'll give credit to Mr. Lucia and his partner over there, his buddy TJ Lucia. They did say that. Brother Rich, that was Brother Rich said. He didn't think that the Rams would repeat for the same reasons. Doc weighing in again. He said they have one. He just got to get his groove back. They who, Doc? Who's he saying they to, Double J, you think?
They were, that being the Browns.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, duh. Oh, man. Ooh. Wow. Yeesh, let me give myself a button for that. Yeah, the Browns. Okay, yeah, I got you, Doc. Good looking out. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Deshaun is a franchise quarterback. I would just point out the fact that there was some folks that headlining the program them couple of weeks swerving down that the Bengals wasn't going to win another game. Yeah. Oh, wow. And look who decided to join the party later.
What's happening? What's Hey, man, I ain't got no charges, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Electro. Thank you very much. Glad you could join the show. Before he say anything, we're going to get to this comment right here. Ladies and gentlemen, that's TJ, if you all didn't know that by now. I know he looked a little different.
Let me get out of here, man.
See, this is what I'm talking about. TJ joining us from the locker room. Let me get this comment in right quick. Doc said Watson's a franchise quarterback. He just got to learn how to football again. Yeah, of course. And I'll tell you this right quick, too, before we get TJ's thoughts on the Chiefs and the Bengals. This is the guy that said the Bengals wouldn't win another game, too. He was one of the culprits. Do you think Stefanski on the hot seat, TJ?
Automatically this year.
Why?
He has no excuses now.
Because of Jim Schwartz?
That mainly because he got a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback with weapons on an good offensive line, good defense.
Okay.
We got few people who made Pro Bowls on that side of the ball. So what's the excuse now? No excuses. It should all come down to your scheme and your philosophy.
You don't think he'll get another year just on GP because of Jim Schwartz coming in with a new defensive system?
No.
Okay.
He was the coach of the year. That might buy him at least a half a season. It depends on how bad. If we don't make the playoffs, it depends on how many games we didn't make the playoffs by. We missed the playoffs by like a game, maybe.
Okay. Double J, you think Stefanski on the hot seat?
He has to be.
No, but hey, why you beating around the bush, dog?
What bush?
The Cowboys bush. Why you ain't ask me about your Cowboys?
I'm not a Cowboys fan.
Man, stop it.
I'm a Miami Hurricanes fan. Unfortunately, my man D Gully got to drop out. Okay, all right, Gully, it's all good, man. We're glad you could join us. It's all good, Gup. Do you want to? I'm not no Cowboys fan, man.
Yeah, right.
If we're not talking,
your boy Dak throwing all them interceptions.
I ain't got nothing to do with that. I'm the matter of fact, I'm the one that said.
Wait a minute. Where's that NFC beast that you were saying, and where are they now?
The same at the same place as the AFC West. They not the best either. Okay. Oh, don't get on here now. Don't get on here now. Now you want to get on the microphone. Ain't that nothing? Nah, your TJ done came. This is how it works. Gully is out, but I got backup. D-Runk, holla at your boy. Stefanski got one more season with Deshaun to miss the playoffs, then he out of there. I agree with that too. TJ, Chiefs and Bengals, who you got? Who you think gonna win and why?
Yeah, people keep asking me that. I probably take the Bengals again. Bengals because they got their number.
Yeah, I think Gully kind of alluded to that. Double J, who you got? You never did say.
Yeah, no, I'm going with Cincinnati as well.
What? Oh, let me flag that.
Yeah, we both can't say that. That don't look good for us, Double J.
No, it don't. It don't. Yeah, it don't. It don't look good for you at all.
We the same people say they ain't gonna win another game, so I'm gonna
Exactly.
flip flop my
Right.
I'm
Yeah,
flip flop
right,
my
yeah.
little wager, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna go with the Chiefs.
Okay, yeah, whatever. Doc weighing in again. Yeah, this is Stefanski's last shot. I couldn't agree more. All right, on the NFC side of things, we got the Niners and the Eagles. TJ, since you just now joined us, we'll let you go first.
I already picked the Niners since the beginning, so I'm gonna rock with the Niners on out. Even though the Eagles is the one team that scared me against the Niners.
I'm about to tell you, don't think Jalen Hurts can solve the Niners? What do the Niners do so well on defense that Jalen Hurts can solve?
And they both got good defense, though, to be honest.
I'm about to say.
But the Eagles got more offense, even though I feel like the Niners got more offensive weapons. If that makes sense.
Doc weighing in again. He said the Lucia brothers try and backtrack and roll with the not winning again Bengals. Good looking out, Doc. I'm glad you're here, baby. Stay with me, yeah. I'm saying till we get on out of here. That was a good one. But you said what now about the Eagles? Because the Eagles defense can solve Brock Purdy before I think the 49ers defense, which is darn good, can solve Jalen Hurts.
You talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I said the Eagles got more offense, but I feel like the 49ers have more offensive weapons. So if the 49ers come out there offensively with a great game plan, I'm going to give it to the 49ers. But I'm going to pick the 49ers anyway, but they're going to have to play good offense. They can't play that offense they played last game.
Double J, what's the line? What's the line on the Niners? What's the line on the Niners? Chiefs. I mean, Niners and Eagles. Just it's one.
Hey, I gotta go, y'all. I only got 10% battery life. I appreciate y'all.
Oh Lord. Oh my gosh.
Y'all my picks. I know you missed me, man.
No.
I'm at work right now.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we appreciate you for joining us. Thank you. Short-lived, if not.
Double J, keep your foot on his throat. Don't let him. Don't let up.
Oh yeah, always.
I hope you got Timberlands on.
Hey man, I survived. I survived Shawshank.
Hey, it's minus 2.5 Philly.
All right, y'all.
All right, yep, it's on. Appreciate you. Doc went in again. He said Debo and Kittle will be a San Francisco saving grace. I don't know.
It's just hard. Here's the thing: who had the better defense, the Cowboys or the Eagles?
The Eagles.
Okay, so if we're gonna go off that rationale,
I'm talking about from front to back, because the Cowboys secondary was suspect.
Well, now here's the thing. Remember, to my understanding, Fletcher Cox is still there. And then they signed Ndamukong Suh. Sounds familiar? That's what the Rams did in the middle of the season. That's what the Bucks did. This dude
and Graham. And Graham. Ain't Graham still there?
Yeah. So where I'm going with it is they're not going to be able to. The Cowboys were successful in what they did. You've even heard some of their players come out on the defensive side of the ball and said, we did enough to win the game. It was they.
Yeah, no, they did. No, they did. They did.
And so if Philly just matches them, this is where you're going to find out. Look, we had a lot of questions. Everyone did about Jalen Hurts. This was his year to prove it.
No, but at the beginning of the season, we did our season previews. We said it was Jalen Hurts MVP.
Right. We did, because it should be. He had all the help around him. The defense got better throughout the year, but that wasn't really anything new. The previous season, even when they were struggling or just barely hanging on, it was largely due to the defense that was keeping them in games. So that's never been the issue.
Okay, but see, let me throw this out here at you too then. And D-Runk, Doc, if y'all still with us, weigh in. Of the 4 teams left, both AFC, NFC, which quarterback has the better offensive skilled players around him? Rank them.
Cincinnati
is one.
I would go Philly too.
No way. No way. Over San Francisco? Are you serious? No, San
Look,
Francisco's
Debo's
2.
now, or look, Debo's Debo, but let's not pretend that AJ Brown wasn't the truth in Tennessee. And Devontae Smith is not no slouch. I would take Devontae Smith over Brandon Ayuk on if he had a cold. I don't care.
Okay, but I'm not okay. But that's not what we're saying. I'm not. No way. Well,
now,
yeah. Okay,
you could say McCaffrey versus.
But I'm talking about collectively. That's what I'm saying. Collectively, they got Mitchell, McCaffrey, Kittle,
Dallas Goedert
Ayuk, and
not,
Debo Samuel.
Look, Kittle was doing nothing for 90% of the year until Brock Purdy came in. Let's not.
Yeah, but Kittle had but that was Garoppolo's fault. The same way Brett, what's the guy, Baker Fakefield in here was not getting the ball to OBJ.
Right.
Garoppolo and right now Brock Purdy looks like I could get rid of Trey Lance and Garoppolo.
Oh yeah.
I'm just saying,
7th round money.
I'm just saying.
What is that? What is that? 150K? You know.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. That's a postal salary. No offense. I'm just saying. Okay, 72 cents a year. I'm just saying, bro. At the end of the day, the Eagles got weapons. Yeah, Devonta and Brown, man, no question. But remember now, Brown was having some little hissy fit on the sideline about only getting 3 catches.
Wow, that's something else.
Yeah, well, yeah. But in ranking them, I gotta go Cincinnati, San Francisco, the Eagles, and then do I want to put the Eagles at 3? I don't know. Well, I said the quarterback. So yeah, then I'll put the Chiefs at 4. Let me get to this other comment right quick. Doc weighing in again. He said Purdy will be the starter next year, and they will trade Lance for picks or more weapons on offense. Yeah, I could see that happening. I could see that happening. And you said the line is 2.5 or 1.5?
2.5 for this game. It's enough. If you think your team's going to win, then you could just roll with it at the -110. It's worth it. Because if they're going to win, they're going to win by more than a field goal, or by at least a field goal. I mean, and in either game. So you could same game parlay it. Both. Here's the interesting thing to me are the over-unders in terms of points. They're both in the mid-40s, which is, again, a very different conversation than what we had just a week ago. Then you seen Cincinnati had no problem putting up a bunch of points on Buffalo. They nearly put up 40 by themselves. So
that's what I'm saying. The Niners put up 41 on the Vikings. And we all know the Vikings defense is 35th out of 32 teams. I get it. But they barely put up 19 against the Cowboys.
But this is why I'm saying the Cowboys defense was better than maybe advertised. That was why I picked them, because I thought rookie quarterback, not just a rookie quarterback, but I don't want to insult the guy, but just given that draft selection in a game of that magnitude, truthfully, they should have lost that game. And really what it does is it speaks to Dak Prescott not being the answer in Dallas. And they can't do anything about it for a while.
No, I'm with you. I would agree with that wholeheartedly. Yeah, because that was a quarterback. That was a game that the John Elways and the Patrick Mahomes and the Joe Burrows and anybody else you could think of that's supposed to be the Roethlisbergers, they would have won that game. They would have.
Did they make a mistake by not adding another receiver?
They had T.Y. Hilton. I mean, I know he's long in the tooth, but he was playing well for them. He was balling for them. That was Dak, man. Them 2 interceptions, that was Dak.
They were terrible.
Yeah, that was Dak. That was Dak. But then I say the Eagles defense from front to back is better than the Cowboys. I do. And they playing at home. Man, Philly gonna be ready, man. I'm thinking I would like to see, just for old time's sake, I would like to see the Bengals and the Niners. And I'd like to see Joe Burrow get him one to exercise all that Ken Anderson and Boomer Esiason, and that, them back in the days. But
what's the better game? Hang on. If we're all seem to be pretty convinced that it's Cincinnati. What's the better game? I know you're going nostalgia. Take nostalgia out of it for a minute and just look at it on paper. Who gives
Bengals
Cincinnati?
Eagles? Bengals Eagles.
Then who you got?
I plead the fifth.
Has Cincinnati faced a defense like this yet? In either game, because I'm giving credit actually to San Francisco massively, because even from a fantasy standpoint,
yeah, they have.
Those guys know
the Steelers and the Ravens.
And look what happened against the Ravens.
The Bengals won.
Oh, come on, Jay.
But listen, you gotta be in it and close enough to win it.
Even when they played. Cleveland's defense wasn't great, but they played them tough, and he kept throwing to that one dude, the slot receiver, and he ate them alive.
That's the.
I know that's a sign of a great quarterback.
That's the AFC North, though. If you look at the AFC North history, minus the Browns, the Ravens, the Steelers are the litmus test for the rest of the NFL.
But this is my point about this, and this is why I love that you said this. Because game 1 of this season went into overtime against Pittsburgh in Cincinnati.
But that's a division rival.
But come on, it was the first game of the season.
But you don't understand. See, that's what.
I do get it. But
you understand?
TJ Watt got hurt. Pittsburgh should have won that game. Is my point. And
they did win that game.
And then
no, they didn't.
Truthfully,
no. Pittsburgh did win that game.
Did they?
Yeah, Pittsburgh won that game.
All right, so that even bodes better for my argument here. Because 2 weeks ago, if somebody not named Huntley was under center for Baltimore, we're not having this conversation at all.
Well, wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. Don't jump out the kettle and call it the pot.
All I'm saying is that Lamar Jackson is a better quarterback than Huntley. And that
we know that
was needed. And guess what?
But have the Bengals ever beat the Ravens? Have the Bengals ever beat the Ravens with Lamar Jackson?
Maybe.
Yes. Yes. That's what I'm trying to tell you, man. That's the AFC North, man. The Steelers, the Ravens, and the Bengals, again, I'll be glad when we've been able to include the Browns in this conversation. They are the litmus test, man, especially the Ravens and the Steelers. Man, you know how storied them franchises are? Just 5 minutes ago. Man. They said this is probably one of Mike Tomlin's better coaching jobs or whatever the case may be. That defense has always been, when you can get past the Ravens and the Steelers, you got a pretty good chance of getting past just about everybody else. Let me say it that way. All right. Yeah. And then add in Joe Burrow. The man is unfazed, man. The difference I see, the Eagles and Niners in particular, should the Niners win, will not be so much the skill positions players and the offense and all of that. It's Kyle Shanahan. Can Kyle Shanahan outcoach Sirianni? That's what it's going to come down to me. Excuse me. Yeah.
I don't think he has to.
What do you mean? You're gonna have to, because to me, the talent on the Eagles from top to bottom, I give the slight edge to. So you're gonna have to coach them up, baby. You're gonna have to coach up them 49ers. Because again, Brock Purdy, Jalen Hurts. Who would you want? And I know Purdy is undefeated. Mr. Irrelevant is undefeated right now. Tom Brady, reincarnate. Excuse me. Sorry about that, y'all.
Now, they've played each other before. You know that, right?
Of course. Yeah. Oklahoma, Iowa State. Come on, man. Come on, man. Now, my mind might be slipping, but it ain't slipped all the way. Okay. I ain't dipping and slipping, baby. You understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, who you got? Who would you want to see? I say Bengals, Eagles. That's what I think is going to be. But for nostalgia's sake, Bengals 49ers would be nice. I'd like to see them get some get back on Joe Montana. Wouldn't that be befitting? Joe Burrow, exercise Joe Montana's. Come on, man. Come on, it's a nice storyline right there. But from a football standpoint, Bengals, Eagles. That'd be a better game. I bet you the over-under in that one be 56, 57.
I still don't think so. I think they would be in the high 40s. I think they'd be around 49, 48.
Hold on. And then we getting ready to get out of here. We appreciate y'all for staying with us for the duration. You're telling me two of the top offenses in the NFL, one on one side of the ball with Jamar Chase, Samaje Perine, Joe Mixon, whose body is fresh after being out a few games from being injured, just now coming back in time. Boyd and what's the other? Higgins with Brown, Devonta Smith, and Jalen Hurts. You don't think that's an offense? You don't think that's 4th of July, man, in January?
No, it is. However, what you're forgetting is the defense.
That, with all due respect to both of them, the Niners and the Eagles defenses, they deserve some shine. But the offenses of the Bengals and the Eagles are so good that you're going to be able to still tip your hat to the defenses because they're going to play, but the offenses are just that much better. You see it in basketball. You hear Reggie Miller say, oh, man, the defense was exceptional, but the offense was just that much better. Yeah, that's what I think. I'm trying to tell you now. Yeah. Bengals, Eagles. That's the football in me talking. The nostalgia, Bengals, Niners. Now, who you got? So we can get out of here.
Yeah, I think the home team pulls it off for that one. So we'll have a split here.
Eagles, Bengals?
Yep.
So you think the Bengals do beat the Chiefs again in Arrowhead?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's because of the injury. Without it, even then, I would have still been a little bit more hesitant. But it's, again, I know a lot of people pointed out the absence of Tyreek Hill. I told you, I don't really trust those receivers the way that
Mahomes does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they
and defensively,
they do it by committee.
If we were to rank those remaining defenses just quickly, KC's would be dead last.
Yeah, they would. There's no question.
And so again, we're talking about being able to, if this were a Kansas City versus San Francisco, I might still lean the other way.
San Fran?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, no question. I don't know, but Andy Reid he one heck of hella chess player is what I'm trying to say.
Well, that's just it. He's gonna. If anybody, you talked about schematics and out coaching. There you go. You don't have to wait for the Super Bowl.
I know, but again, the one guy who can beat Andy Reid, if nobody else is that I'm confident could beat him, is Joe Burrow. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Out of all the Andy Reid's play sheets that was from Denny's, I'm just saying he didn't come up with something. The defensive coordinator, somebody, I don't know, somebody didn't come up with enough to beat Joe Burrow, man. I just don't know. Well, it's interesting to see. I'm looking forward to this weekend's AFC and NFC championships. Let's go Bengals. Let's go Eagles. And on that note, I leave you without a quote. It's been fun, but we got to run. Don't forget to check us out every Wednesday now at 9 on the PM side right here on the yard, baby. Or y'all can check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the shop's fan page, Facebook fan page, that is. And, of course, YouTube. Make sure when you're over YouTube, you click on live videos up and you hit that subscribe button, the little bell from Philadelphia. Bing-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. We'd be much obliged. And if that don't work, y'all can Google it. For my mans, B Rich, Double J, TJ, D Gully, and all those who follow and support us. Man, I don't know what's going on with me today. It's time for bed. It's past my bedtime. I need some Pedialyte. I'm just saying. And all those who follow and support us, we say thank you. I'm Barbershop Jay, and you've been listening to the Shop Report. Remember, the next time y'all want to know what's really going on, man, come to the shop. Walk-ins are always welcome. Holla!